Okay. Hi, everybody. I'm John Self, and we just screwed up. They had the mute button on the microphone, and I apologize. So I will take this down later and cut that out for people who watch the replay. We had an incredible day today. Market crashed, didn't completely crash, but there was a huge sell-off, 1,700, down 1,700. That's probably either the biggest or the second biggest crash, or down, not the crash, but the closing since the start of the pandemic. That's a big deal. They talked to CEOs today. They are all filled with uncertainty. They're all concerned about the higher cost of goods coming in. They're worried about inflation. They're worried about stagflation. They are worried about so many things, and they are reluctant to make investments in building factories in the U.S. because they don't know if these tariffs are just negotiating points. But a CEO does not want to spend a lot of money building a plant in the United States, commit the capital now. It'll take 3 to 5 years to get the plant up and running, only to find out that Trump lays over. Somebody paid him a lot of money. He rolls over, and now the CEO looks like an idiot because he put all that capital in the United States, and the tariffs have been removed or modified. So there's still incredible uncertainty, and that could lead to higher prices, just a sort of an inflationary mentality, and that will lead to layoffs. So as you watch this information, no one knows for certain what's going to happen. But let me tell you, the advice I can give you is this: do not take anything for granted. If you haven't been in the job market for 3 to 5 years, you absolutely need to think about getting prepared, because if it does happen to you, it's going to take you a while to ramp up. So let's get busy and talk about our presentation today. You know, I said was yesterday Liberation Day, or was it Termination Day? And I think it's true. The CEOs have freaked out today. Markets tanked. This uncertainty reigns over the business landscape in the U.S. And there's not a lot of good news tonight. Some of the Trump administration people are saying there's going to be some discomfort. There's going to be some tough times, but we'll come out on it on the other side. But if the tough times hit you, you have to be ready to respond today. You can't sit around and hope that some economic theory works out to your advantage. So today we want to talk about how you can add value to your messaging. Let me tell you a little bit about myself if you've never been with me before. I spent 27 years as a global executive recruiter. I worked all over the United States and in 6 countries on 4 different continents. I've interviewed about 9,000 people in my career. I began my career as a crime writer and an investigative journalist, ending at the Houston Post. I've had extensive experience in business development in 2 industries, and I've had extensive executive coaching experience, and my subspecialty is the art of interviewing. And after you interview 9,000 people, and after you've been an investigative journalist, you know a thing or two about interviewing. So that's who I am, and you can feel free to chat with me, connect with me on LinkedIn. So here's our hair on fire agenda today. First of all, you need to understand value is now king in a job search. What is that? Value. People are hiring based on value. Are you going to be able to deliver results? What specifically are employers looking for? Third, developing a system, a habit to boost your value across the board. And then we're going to talk a little bit about best practices. The timing on this group coaching session today is somewhere between 35 and 45 minutes, unless I slow down. So you can plan accordingly. And if you have any questions, put them in the chat dialogue, and I'll be happy to answer them as we go along. It's all in your value, okay? Companies now realize that the people with the best employees will win. And as I said earlier, we're in an uncharted territory now. We see companies, moving in ways, they're restructuring how they operate. AI and automation is going to dramatically change how some jobs are done, how companies treat their employees. Companies are already upset because they have a lot of mishires. Those mishires are extremely expensive. They drive up cost, and they drag down corporate value. Now, companies make their own mistakes at recruiting, but at the higher levels, in the executive and management level, a lot of times that they hired recruiters to find the best candidates for them. But here's the big but. 40% of all the people that the recruiters recommended were fired or pushed out or left within 18 months because it was not a good match. They weren't the people that they needed. There's an old joke in recruiting that some people, interview well and they work less. I've had clients repeatedly tell me, I want to hire somebody that the person that shows up for the interview, I want to be sure that person shows up for the job. And so I spent a lot of time when I was a recruiter making sure that there was great consistency and there was a connection and there was consistent value. So the companies are really upset. You notice that there have been some names in the industry, the search industry, that have disappeared. In healthcare, Tyler and Company, which was a big, powerful regional company, they got folded into someone else. Larry Tyler retired, somebody else took over the firm, and then they rolled it into another company. It may have even been, the name may have been sold again. But the issue is there's consolidation in recruiting, just like there's consolidation in health systems, just like there's consolidation in a lot of industries across the country. So companies now are saying, if we want to be competitive, if we want to win out in our market, we have to have the best people. And so now they are looking for resumes, and they're crafting their interview strategies around value. And they want you to be able to define value. And that is an essential challenge that you must take up and master. Let me say this to kind of add some more definition to what we're talking about. Quantifiable achievements, value, those are not scope of responsibility statements. For example, if you put on your resume that you were a senior vice president and you were responsible for supervising a team of 2,000 people and a budget of $41 million, that's not an accomplishment. It tells everybody that you've had experience in managing large groups and complex organization, but it doesn't tell us what you achieved. They are looking for what you achieved. That is a quantifiable achievement. And we're not saying finish the building ahead of schedule and on time. That's better, but it doesn't give us any definition to what you really achieved. And so quantifiable achievements, when you start listing your bullets down below your job title and your description of what you've done, don't put in the bullets things like, I supervised this or I led this. You need to say, we did this X, Y, and Z and produced these results. And people say, well, I can't remember. Well, let me tell you something. Please forgive me. The dumbest thing you can tell a recruiter is I don't remember or I don't know, because that does not boost your brand that you're the kind of guy that I can guarantee for 3 years and be safe that I'm not going to have to replace you. Quantifiable achievements, not scope of responsibility statements, are what people are looking for. So let's build on that. They are not looking for average or very good people. That's changed, and we're in the process of seeing that change right now, today. They want to hire those people whose performance is consistent, excellent, or elite. If you're elite, if you're an elite performer, you are so far ahead of so many other people. So you have to be, but if you're going to say you're elite, you have to bloody well document it. People now, corporate recruiters, and even some executive recruiters who understand that their role in picking talent is now under question, they are looking for sustained, superior performance. Average is not good enough. Very good is not good enough. You have to be excellent, above average, or you have to be elite. And you have to be able to demonstrate that you have a sustained record of superior performance. Now, where did that phrase come from? Well, a great colleague of mine, a candidate I once wanted to recruit very badly and lost out to the Red Cross, T.D. Smyers, who was a former naval captain, gave me that. And that is a standard when an officer goes before the Navy Promotions Board. That's what the board is looking for and before they promote someone. Did they have sustained superior performance? So applicants must provide examples of success. Documenting first, what was the challenge? What was the job? What barriers did you have to overcome? And you need to be able to address those. How did you implement? You got to provide enough detail so they know that you're just not blowing smoke. And you have to provide specific before and after results. Now, that's one of the most powerful comparisons, but you have to do that. And if you or someone, I see this all the time, it's a common mistake. Aside from putting scope of responsibility in performance bullets, This is another common mistake. They use percentages without baseline data. That's not effective. It's not the kind of thing that you want to do. So you've got to document all that information, and you have to be prepared to defend it, and it has to be authentic and believable. So people say, well, I don't remember. What can I do? Well, if you're toward the end of your career, not a lot. You can go back and try to recreate some of these things, and you may have to rely on anecdotal illustrations. But one of the things we do in our interviewing course is we do a research interview, and we'll spend about 90 minutes walking someone through their life and their career. And we're listening for things that we believe will get a client excited. And a lot of times the candidate never uses those examples in an interview because they're self-editing. And that is unbelievable, but that costs a lot of people a job offer. They self-edit. Oh, I don't want to say that. It might sound a little bit arrogant. Well, if you don't support yourself, who the hell is? If you don't brag on yourself, there's nobody else that's going to do it. And your mother was probably one of your biggest champions when you were growing up, but she can't be in the interview room with you. So you have to do that. So what's the answer? How can I pull this information together? You know, if you are millennial, first stage millennial, that means you were the first in the group, or you're Gen X, you still have a lot of your career left. So this is a solution for you. And you need to do this. You absolutely need to do this. It's an analog solution. Now you can use your computer, but it's a journal. You create a moving history of your interactions, your big decisions, your networking contacts, and you document specifics of your successes with quantifiable examples. You know, when you reduce turnover, people say that all the time. I said, okay, what was the net savings for the company? I don't remember. My God, you just wasted an opportunity to show that you are a superstar. You can't afford to waste those opportunities in this new job market. Now, you can repair that damage, and there's a way to do that. There's ways to do that, and we can show you how to do it. But you can't lie, and it's got to be authentic. But if you know that you reduced overtime or reduced turnover, there's a cash savings in that, and you have to be able to calculate it. Now, if you're still in the reason we encourage you, we recommend you, we beg you to do a journal is because that can be real-time documentation. You don't have to go back 3 months, 6 months, 5 years to remember this stuff. You do it in real time. It's more accurate, it's more authentic, it's got more detail. But if you reduced, we did a project in a hospital in Indiana, and they had an enormous turnover rate in nursing. And I thought, my gosh, that sounds horrible. And so I got some information from HR and figured out that the turnover rate was costing that organization $17 million a year. $17 million a year. And the CEO was making great strides at reducing that turnover. He'd probably cut it in half. But you know what? He never mentioned that in his board meetings, and he never mentioned that when he was out in the job market interviewing. That is a lost opportunity, because what is that? That's quantifiable value. If you reduced accounts receivable by 27%, from what to what? 27% of $100 is not a big deal. 27% of $30 million is a big deal. So you want to capture this information, and you want to think about how can you use this to promote your brand going forward. You have to document your successes with quantifiable examples. Now, the other thing that is helpful in keeping a journal, and that is reflective thinking. So it's a moving history, it's a documentation, and it's reflective thinking. So what are you saying, John? What the hell is that? Well, NFL teams, they have a plan, and they practice and they work on that plan before a big game. Same thing with baseball, basketball, all those, everybody has a plan, and they practice. Famous musicians like Itzhak Perlman and others, before they have a big concert, they know the music by heart, but they still go through it because they think about how they can improve it. They're always challenging themselves. They always want to brush up on their technique. And so they rehearse before a big concert. What do executives do? Golf, go play golf. That doesn't help you become a better leader. Reflective thinking is your rehearsal. Let me explain that in a different way. Besides the fact that the pollen out here today is incredible. We have a lot of severe thunderstorms and tornado watches, and the pollen count is through the roof. And so I apologize for that. But let's talk about another example. Rand Stajan, a really great leadership coach in Dallas, used this example years ago at an SMU conference that I attended. And he talked about reflective thinking, and he is a big devotee and passionate advocate of journaling. In football games, the head coach is on the sideline, and he has headphones on. And the football field, if you know, is kind of peaked in the middle, and so the sidelines are lower than the peak in the middle of the field. So the head football coach has a good seat, but he doesn't have the best seat in the house. Where's that? That's upstairs. And so he may be the most experienced coach on the field, but he has junior coaches in the Pentagon, but they have a better view because they're looking down. They have different perspective. And on top of the coaches who are making suggestions for plays and defense in real-time basis, above them is a whole bunch of photographers videoing the game. And those coaches will take that video film and grade it. And then the first time they get together after a game, they take everybody aside into their groups and talk about who executed well and who needs to work on improvement, who busted up a play, who cost the team a touchdown. And there's a lot of accountability for that. And that's called game filming. Well, when you are the coach on the sideline, the TV cameras are always focusing on you. But he's asking people in the press box who have a better perspective than he does, looking down, what they think and what they're seeing. Well, reflective thinking puts you in the press box, looking down on your performance at a meeting, a big conference, a presentation, a board meeting, whatever it's important, and it gives you a chance to replay the game film, and it gives you a chance to think about: did I have the right people at the table? Did I let people talk first, or did I interject too much? Did I give the people a chance to feel like their opinion counted, or did I cut people off? Did I have the right people, in dealing as stakeholders, and did I have the right message for them? Those are all things you can use and make notes. It's hard. None of us want to admit that we made dumb decisions or that we couldn't possibly make a perfect. We only make perfect decisions. Well, not really, but the problem is a lot of us don't ever go back and look at those decisions again. Reflective thinking forces you to do that, and it will provide you, I assure you this, incredible insights into your leadership style, and that will help you identify ways to get better. Now, let's talk about your job search. You're in a job market, and you get a layoff notice. And now you're trying to you're going to get a lot of information. You're going to have to do a lot of networking. If you don't have a network, God, please get started doing that. Please get started doing that, because it's a miserable, horrible, god-awful, horrible experience to try to find a job at a management executive level without a network. 70% of the jobs aren't even posted anymore. Okay. And so they're filled by referral. Who's the referral? A recruiter you may know, or somebody who knows somebody in the organization. And so you want to build your network on your vertical and connect with people in your target organizations. But let's talk about how this is all changing very, very dramatically. And in having a journal, you're going to need to keep up with who you're talking to. You think you'll remember, but you're doing something that you don't normally do. You're finding a job is not your day job, okay, unless you're a recruiter. And most people, they think they're going to remember stuff. They don't. Now, at personal note, the gray hair, there's a correlation between the things I remember today and the things I always had locked in the past. So I write a lot of things down. But you need to write things down and make notes because you think you'll remember, but you don't. Somebody may say, oh, yeah, I know Bob. He knows so-and-so at this hospital or this clinic or this retail operation or whatever. And you can make that note and make that connection and develop it. Get a business intel and find out if that person can help you. It keeps a record. Now, you want to build your own network and you want to have your own career plan, and those two need to be aligned. And we've written a lot about that and talked a lot about that. And if you haven't thought about it, please go to one of our group coaching sessions and look that up, because it's really, really, really important today. But you need to collect all this information and you need to build a network. Somebody says to me, oh, my wife and I had our anniversary last night. Make a note of that. Look for their birthdays, because a lot of times LinkedIn will tell you when their birthdays are. On their Facebook page, they'll probably share more personal information. Make notes of that. Why? Because contacts don't refer you to a job. Relationships refer you to a job. And so it's really important to build that base database loaded chock-a-block with information. You won't remember it, so write it down. The other thing you're going to have to deal with is a whole hell of a lot of rejection. I wish it weren't so, but that just wouldn't be authentic of me to say that. You're going to have to deal with a lot of that. And so you're going to need to be able to think about how you will deal with that. When you journal, you're basically developing a system to capture information, to capture intelligence, to reflect on your performance, how you can be better, and you use it to build good habits. You have gratitude. Every day you're in a job search. I try to get my clients to think about every morning they get up and write down 3 things you're grateful for. Why? Because you're going to feel so bad some days that gratitude journaling may be what lifts you up. And you can't afford to get, as an old friend of mine from North Carolina used to say, a doctor, infectious disease doctor, you can't afford to allow yourself to become lower than hammered whale poop. That was his great line, first time I'd ever heard it in my life. But that happens. There's only so much disappointment your spouse, your partner, whatever, can take. And looking for ways to be grateful is a way to help lift yourself up. Now, one of the things I tell my clients is I'm your safety valve. If everybody's tired of listening to you, call me. I'll listen to you, because I've been there. I understand what it's like. I understand the depths. I mean, you can get into a deep, deep, dark hole. Christmas a couple of years ago, a client called me and he was really struggling. He came to me late in his search. He didn't realize how things had changed. And he started crying. And he cried because he was scared to death he was going to be homeless. And it was 2 or 3 people in that same holiday period that had similar stories. And, one of the things I can try to do for people is help them through the emotional crap that you're going to encounter in a job search, especially when you start to look at your savings running out, you're dipping into your retirement plan, and it's going to take you 8 to 14 months. And you start to think, my God, I'm never going to work again. So we're here to help you and boost you up. But you start the day, find 3 things you're grateful for. It may be your spouse or your partner. And God bless you, I hope it is. And you engage in some reflective thinking. What did I do yesterday? What could I have done better? And you want to keep track of your history, your accomplishments, all the things that will establish your value. That is the secret to establishing your value. So what's the best practice? The best practice is get a book you enjoy writing in. Let's see if I can find my journal. I have 2 kinds of journals. One is an idea journal, and you probably recognize this. They are called wide rule sheets that people use in college or writing classes. You buy them for $1 in Walmart. Now, I use another form of journal. Right now, my daughter gave me a Moleskine at Christmas, and those are nice and have great paper. And when you're writing on good paper, it makes it easier. I also use one that is a gray book, and it's great. It's cheaper than Moleskine, and that's kind of my preferred deal. Some people like the big journals. Some people like the smaller journals. But you need to get a journal that you like writing in, and you need to get something you're not going to throw away. This is transitory. This is an idea capture, and I transfer the good ones. I transfer over to my journal, because the journals I keep. These things will go in a box someplace, and they may get thrown out. I'm working on a book. A lot of my ideas go into those things. to capture the ideas because I've got more room. And this is $1. It's a lot cheaper than a $17 journal. But you need to find a book you enjoy writing in. If you use a spiral notebook from college or high school, be careful, because those are things that spouses sometimes will say, gosh, that's old, he doesn't need that, and throws it away. You want to keep your journals because it helps you go back and really recall a lot of things about your life. Matthew McConaughey, the great actor that was born in Uvalde, grew up in Longview, Texas, now lives in Austin, is an absolute passionate person about journaling. And his book, Green Lights, was based on all of his journals. And if you haven't read the book, it's a hard read because they got too cute by half in terms of the design, but its content is fabulous. And I encourage you to look at that. This journaling will be an extraordinarily meaningful thing in your life. And the best practice, do it every morning or every evening, but do it regularly, do it consistently, and follow that format that I laid out. Now, tonight at 7 o'clock, we'll be answering questions on career management on TikTok Live. Now, TikTok may not be here much longer, but boy, oh boy, is it a popular format. I've had as many as 3,000 people show up at TikTok. We're not sure what's going to happen. If they think they're going to force China to do something, a lot of people are betting that the Chinese premier will just say no and shut it down, and not because he doesn't want to look like he's caved to President Trump. It's an extraordinarily important platform, and it's helped a lot of people build their business. But the law that passed and the Supreme Court upheld said if it continues, it can't have any Chinese code. So there's a problem with that. So we're not sure how much longer it's going to be around, but it's a great way to, if you're a small business person, it's a great way to build visibility. So tonight at 7 o'clock, for about 45 minutes, I'll be answering questions. Next Tuesday, we have Lunch and Learn at noon at Central Time, and then Thursdays at 4 p.m., office hours, 4 p.m. Central Time. At noon on Thursday, I also do Instagram Career Live, and I answer questions. So we're happy to help you any way we can. Now, I want to encourage you to pay attention to our membership program. This coaching session today was free, and they have been free for a while, and there are a lot of the past programs and past coaching sessions are on my YouTube page, and you can go back and find subjects that you're interested in and replay them. They're not designed to be TV quality. They're designed to provide information in a reasonably clear and concise manner. And so like today, I started talking for about 15 minutes and didn't have the mic turned on. So I'll have to take this down and reload it and then put it back up on YouTube tonight in an edited format. But it is something we really enjoy doing, and it is a way to help people. You can become a member after, I think, May 31st or June 1. We keep pushing it back. When we hit a membership target point, these programs will not be free anymore. They will be members only. Our membership allows you 2 free coaching sessions a week live. It allows you 4 30-minute coaching calls with me every month. It allows you to buy our premium coaching services for a 40% discount, and you get a free subscription to our daily newsletter. And it's $79 a month. There's no contract. If you don't like it, you can stop immediately. And our goal is to try to provide you value. We hope you'll consider it. It's johngself.com. You go to the webpage. On the right side of the webpage, there's a little ribbon. It says check your, click here to go to the membership page. And I think that it'll give you all the information you need. So we hope you'll consider being a member. And we have a lot of other premium coaching packages there as well. I want to thank you for joining us today. It's been a pleasure. I enjoy these programs, and I hope it's been helpful to you. And I hope that we will continue to be able to provide you this information. If you have suggestions on what you would like to learn, what you would like me to talk about, please let me know. John@johngself.com. Thank you all very much. We appreciate you being here. And remember, let's see, it is now, we're talking about, it's Thursday night. So I'll be busy. We'll be posting Tuesday's Lock and Load, Tuesday's Lunch and Learn topic next. And we hope that you'll take a chance to look that down. So thank you very much for watching us today. Cheers, everybody.
Jesus.